Recording.
Cosmic Channel author and public speaker who has gained recognition for her extraordinary experiences and interactions with extraterrestrial beings. Her remarkable story and UFO footage have been featured on the Travel Channel and mainstream media outlets worldwide, including LAD Bible and The Mirror. Lily's journey with UFOs began during the COVID pandemic while she was out capturing space photography. She started documenting these close encounters with her camera, driven by a desire to gather evidence and understand the identity of these visitors. Over time, her experiences evolved, leading to a profound communication and connection with these otherworldly beings. They shared mysteries of the universe, teachings on initiating contact, activating her dormant starseed DNA, unlocking psychic gifts, and enhancing healing abilities. Drawing from her newfound insights and cosmic connections, Lily now utilizes her gifts to channel uplifting messages, conduct DNA activations, offer healing, and guide others on their spiritual awakening journey through her YouTube channel. She is committed to sharing her discoveries, footage, and experiences with the world, aiming to assist others in initiating contact, connecting with enlightened star beings, and reuniting with their star families. Lily Nova's work embodies a deep sense of purpose, seeking to illuminate the path to higher consciousness, interstellar connections, and a greater understanding of the cosmic tapestry that surrounds us. Her dedication to sharing her cosmic encounters and wisdom serves as a beacon of inspiration for those exploring the realms of consciousness, contact with extraterrestrial entities, and the mysteries of the universe.
And besides that, just being beautiful and amazing and heartfelt and wonderful. And we're so glad that you're hanging out with us today.
Hi, it's so awesome to be here. And I love your energy too, Erica. So thank you so much. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you. I don't know why I feel like nervous today. And it's not like we haven't met before and been in the same space, but I think I'm nervous, excited, and really glad you're here. Yeah. And you get to meet Terry from Manitoba and hang out with her. And it's really cool. I just noticed about you, you just have like a really loving energy. And I just see that people are like, she's like my sister, like this really good vibe, and I'm really happy. I'm a little bit happy and excited about your book. This is your first book?
Yeah. Yep. First book. Yeah, I've been wanting to write one for a while, so yeah, it's time. So I've been writing away for the past. I wrote it pretty quickly in 6 weeks. That's all I did was write for 6 weeks straight, and now it's out, so I'm super excited about it.
Super disciplined. You also took that class? You took a class as well? Or?
Yeah. So Aaron Kuhn from Journey to Truth podcast, Tony Rodriguez, and a few others, Lisa DiMartino and a few others took the same book writing program with me through Jackie Kenner. And hello, Dan Heaton. I see Dan in the chat. Hi, guys, everybody who's here live. Yeah, so we all did that program together, and that really helped put a structure to it and gave us, weekly goals of how many pages we should have each week. So that was very, very helpful. And in doing it together as a group was a really great experience. A little stressful in the beginning, but then once you get in the flow, then you're in the flow. So it worked out really well.
That's amazing. And Jackie's class is not expensive. I was scared to ask. Someone else was taking the class. I was like, do you mind if I ask you? That's amazing. For 6 weeks, and the products that are coming out of this, that amazing price. Oh my God. And so how long really how did this even come about? Like you said, during COVID, that triggered you to do a lot of research. But you've come so far in that amount of time. I think it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I read the beginning part of your book, and I was like, wow, that was amazing from that period of time to where you are now. It's like you were on the fast course. They put you on steroids to get to where you are. Like, wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's been kind of like nonstop since it started. So yeah, I wasn't like into UFOs or anything like that. I was a little, I was open to some spiritual. I was like drawn to crystals and things like that. I'd always felt drawn to Buddhism, but I wasn't super spiritual either. But I was very curious about, the mysteries of our history, of space. What else is out there. And during COVID, I started shooting space photography. So I started spending a lot of time out under the stars. And then that's whenever I started having really close UFO encounters. And once it started, like the floodgates were open and it was nonstop. And it quickly took over my life essentially overnight. And it's been that way ever since.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
Why? Yeah, maybe you answered this in your book. I haven't got that far in the book, but why did you have a contract? Why you? Why was this? Did this happen so quickly for you? Do you know?
Yeah. So, with a lot of experiencers, a lot of people have had kind of experiences throughout their life, or maybe they had like kind of a weird thing that happened, or maybe they saw a UFO, or maybe they saw a ghost, or, whatever. It wasn't like that for me. This seemed to just suddenly start and then be very, very dramatic, extravagant, and just a lot started happening over COVID, like all at once. So what I found was, yes, this was a contract that I signed. It was decided before I incarnated here that at that specific time I would have like a trigger with the UFOs that started showing up that would then guide me to remembering my mission and remembering who I am at that predetermined time.
I think that's helpful for some people who have children because, like, say, I have a son who's not interested, doesn't really want to hear it, that kind of hears it on the peripheral, but is like, please get out of my face. And some of us, we want to be like, okay, come on, baby, you got. And what I'm seeing is that some people, they're in a complete state of rest until it's time. It's like now you just open up to it when exactly the right time. And so what would you say about that, like to someone else who's looking at their own kids or their own family members, like, wake up? Because people are always saying that, like, wake up. And it's like, hey, you keep doing you. That's how I feel. But what would you say to people about that,
Yeah, sometimes we really have to practice patience with others. Like my family, like my mother was understanding. She was the only one that believed me whenever these things first started happening because she had also seen a UFO before, so she understood. My brother, as an example, he was actually really mean to me about it and would kind of like make fun of me and give me crap for it. But then once I kind of like stopped trying to prove it to everybody or, share everything with everybody, and I kind of changed my energy to kind of like for me personally, standing in my power about my experiences. And then you find your community that you can share these things with. Once I stopped kind of trying to prove it to my brother, eventually he started catching on. And then he started bringing things up to me, like about the pyramids and stuff like that. And then I'm like thinking in my head, like, well, dude, like the ETs like helped build the pyramids, So he started kind of coming at it from different angles. It just, he wasn't ready to hear it until he was ready to hear it. Now I can openly speak to my family about it, 3-4 years later. And it's a whole other thing. Now they believe me, but it hasn't taken over their lives like it has mine, and I just have to respect their journey. But yeah, something may trigger suddenly where, for family members or friends whenever it is their time to pursue it, and they'll pursue it in their own way is what I've discovered.
Do you think that your book could be a trigger for some people, just like the books that we read become triggers? And it's just, so when you wrote it, did you, no, you don't necessarily use that intention, but looking back on it, do you think that there will be things that will trigger people in it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've gotten a lot of testimonials so far about people reading the book and having experiences and beginning to receive signs and communication from their star families and spirit from reading the book. And even while I was writing it, like whenever you're in a flow state, you are channeling, even if you don't realize it. Anytime we're in that flow state, like art, creating music, oftentimes it happens with people who are writing like shows or other stories, like Star Wars and things like that. They're maybe unknowingly channeling information. So while I was in the flow state writing this stuff, I was actually starting to have experiences again through writing, like some of the chapters. I had a very profound experience with Archangel Metatron whenever I wrote I wrote a little segment on him. And I started having, I was having a variety of experiences while writing the book. So yeah, I think it can definitely be very activating for others who read it.
Is there anything that you would say about your childhood that maybe you can reflect on where you have some aha moments of things that maybe you didn't notice or pay attention to at the time, but now it's like, oh, wait a minute. I remember every time this day I was, all the lights were, I got all the green lights that day. And like, maybe you were just noticing things about your luck or this uncanny things that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. There were quite a few things that started to make sense as I discovered that I was a starseed and the communication developed. So one of the things is I've always drawn this eye. I would always draw this eye. I love drawing eyes. And growing up, not knowing that that's a symbol for like the third eye, not knowing that that's also can be a symbol for like the eye of the creator, the omnipresent creator. But whenever I started having my communication with the ETs and these experiences, they started showing me this eye everywhere. I would literally see this eye in the sky. I would see it in the clouds. So that was kind of something that I've been drawing this eye all my life, not really knowing the deeper meaning. And then it kind of came around full circle. Another example would be whenever I was young, around like 6, 7 years old, I was drawing cat people. And and then I found out, as I discovered that I was a starseed and all that I have Lyran heritage, and that I was drawing, the Lyrans, or some of the feline beings are Syrian also. And I was also very intuitive growing up. I remember being around 11 or 12 years old and trying to control the fire of my candle, trying to move it. So I think I was like kind of remembering the manipulation of energy and how we do have these kind of supernatural gifts that we can tap into. So yeah, kind of like strange, different things like that started to make sense.
Did you have an affinity for music and sound as well? I noticed that there's a thing called heart song, and you hum as a way to soothe. Did you notice anything special where maybe you always were humming or singing or drumming or?
Yeah,
it's like we all wanted to pretend to be Indians. We were like, always doing these things.
Yeah, well, I definitely always felt very, very connected to like Native American culture. So, and they're very connected spiritually. So yeah, like humming. I like ambient music and instrumental music. So then, that makes sense because, as I develop spiritually, you realize that, frequency and vibration and sound is everything and very, very powerful. So yeah, there was a bit of that.
Do you have crystal bowls?
Yeah, I've got.
Do you play them?
She's gonna rock them.
Yeah, you've got the beautiful ones. Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that I started doing over the last like 2-3 years now. And I do live activations on my YouTube channel
Yeah.
on Sundays. So yeah, that's become a really big part of just kind of like my routine, and they're very, very powerful. Yeah.
Which crystal bowls do you have there? I know that they have different the different colors are certain crystals, made with certain crystals. So can you just give us a little breakdown of what you got there behind you?
Yeah. I can't remember exactly which all crystals they were that these ones are made out of, but I have that blue one up there is a note for the third eye. This one's for the throat.
Okay.
This one's for the heart, that pink one. And then right there, this is my Saint Germain violet flame sky. I believe that has, what does it have in it? I can't remember exactly what they have in them, but yes, they're all made with different types of crystals. Some of them are made with very specific kind of ingredients from all over the world. Like I remember seeing one bowl I really, really wanted, but then it was sold before I could get it. It was made with dirt or sand from a sacred space, and one was in Sedona that was put into this crystal bowl. Another one was from Mount Shasta. There's some from sacred places around the world. So that's pretty cool that you can put that in the energy in the bowls.
So you do, speaking of those places, you do a lot of grid work. So when you do the grid work, have you been given sort of directions? I'll use that word, that you need to be at this place at this time. And when you do grid work, can you give us an explanation of what you do?
Yeah. So it started happening like naturally before I really knew much about grid work, and I haven't done any like formal study on it. I'm just kind of like intuitively going with it. And then I've gotten some messages about it from like the different Sasquatch clans in the area, and and guides, inner earth beings. So Arkansas was the first place that I was guided to, but also we're all doing grid work all the time. Everywhere that we go, we're doing grid work. So it can happen, it's happening naturally, but then you can also, be called to specific spots. So in Arkansas was the first place where I started really learning about grid work. I went, and there's like hundreds or thousands of miles of crystals under the ground in Mena, Arkansas is where we went. So it's a very charged area. There's a Sasquatch clan there that I connected with and got to meet. And they showed me, whenever I meditated with them, they showed me how to just energetically connect with the crystals in the earth and connect with the grid. And then just kind of like you can visualize or set your intention to send your light, anchor your frequency and send your light throughout the earth, helping to transmute. And then you can literally, with your mind and intention, focus on kind of reconnecting, repairing these energetic grids and ley lines, and then also connecting these sacred sites. So Kokia Mounds, I had another experience while I was there meditating. It was after the Journey to Truth conference last year. Tony Rodriguez was with me and a few other people, and we went to Woodhenge and meditated. And while we were there, I received visions of the pyramids in Egypt. And I was seeing that we were connecting Kokia Mounds to the pyramids in Egypt and helping to activate that site from around the planet, which just blew my mind. And I didn't set the intention to do that. That's just what we were automatically like doing.
I feel like when we unify in one place and then spread back out, like that's a big part of it, because we're charging our energy up, exchanging it, and then going back. Do you talk about that as well?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
How when we go to conferences and we connect like that, we're exchanging energy and then taking it back to the places. Like, I think people think we should cloister together, and it's like, no, actually, this is like maybe a part of what we're supposed to do. We're bouncing off of each other and connecting, and then taking that energy back to our spaces.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And I received this vision. I don't know if it was last year at the Journey to Truth conference or the year before that, but I received a vision, was just kind of understanding, because that was my first, my first experiences of conferences was with Journey to Truth.
Really?
They throw phenomenal conferences. I love that. I love them. So they do a really good job. But I was tuning in to see kind of what was happening. And then I saw visions of all of our energetic fields mingling with each other, and we're sharing information with each other. We're activating each other just from being in, our auras mingling. So that was pretty cool. And then, yes, we take that back home with us, and we're all kind of spread out strategically on different places around the earth to anchor that light. And then that spreads through there. So everything's very, very intentional.
Very. Go ahead.
I know I had an insight one time about, the guys were just saying, is that no matter where you go, you are bringing you're anchoring the energy from where you've been. So wherever you travel, and because of that, it's just bringing the different aspects from the different parts of the earth together in all these places. It becomes that that connection again, because I think that a lot of the energies typically try to break those connections apart, and so wherever we go, we anchor the energy to those places as long as we're anchored. And I think it's important for us to remember to ground ourselves, because people can be all over the place up there, but if they're not grounded, it's not coming in here. It's not helping.
Yeah, that is very important to ground. That was a big lesson for me, especially in the beginning. I had to really focus hard, especially whenever, your third eye and your crown chakra is like wide open. You really have to focus on grounding. But the Sasquatch, I wanted to add real quick to piggyback off of that. The Sasquatch in Mena, Arkansas, whenever they were like kind of guiding me how to connect with the grid and all of that, they said, you brought keys to help activate the land.
I was going to ask about keys. Yeah,
that's the language that they use. They said, you brought keys to activate here, and also the land has keys to activate you. So it was like an
exchange. Wow.
Yeah.
And you have a pet too, don't you?
Yeah, I have Mr. Kylo. He's a Siamese kitty.
And is he participating in any of these activities?
Let me see. There he is sleeping.
He's a big one.
He's getting big. Yeah, he's getting very big.
He's just holding the energetic space for you.
Yeah, he often sleeps next to me. He's helping a lot in the astral. He usually sleeps on the other side of the wall whenever I'm doing my activations, and I think he's helping with the astral and in the astral. And yeah, he also helps me ground. And there was one morning I woke up shortly after I got him, and with my eyes open, I saw a third eye on his forehead, and then I heard in my head, he sees the aliens. And I was like,
right. I was wondering if you had gotten any messages from him.
Yeah. And whenever I first got him, I saw I was seeing his kind of like higher aspects a lot. So I would see his form as an Arcturian, and I actually saw his eyes with my eyes open. His eyes turn into Arcturian eyes for a second one time, and I see him as a blue lion sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people how to connect with their animals, how to connect with the Sasquatch? And I don't know, when was the first time that you connected with the Sasquatch?
That was last spring, not the spring that
really
just
was. Okay. So it was during the conference.
No. Whenever we went to Arkansas, that was the first time that I really connected with them. So it was on the spring equinox in Arkansas. So I guess that would be like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago now.
I feel
Um,
too,
and I just set the intention to, connect with them, and then I went to an area that was specifically known for having a Sasquatch clan there. They had sightings and things like that. But you can just go out in nature, and they use the trees as portals. So if you just go out in nature and set your intention and ask, and also, be respectful to them. Don't like try to just need something from them or ask them for things. Maybe you can offer them something like an apple or a crystal, show some respect and some gratitude, and just kind of be patient and sit there and be still in nature. And meditation also helps, because they may not always, sometimes they'll do like vocalizations or knocks, or sometimes they may even appear in the physical, like manifest in the physical. But it may be easier for them to connect at times, since they're in another dimension or interdimensional. If you could meditate and connect with them psychically, you can connect with them at any time that way.
Yeah, I think people have a hard time sometimes understanding that you're not going to see the physical and being standing there, but understanding something in another dimension. I don't know if you could clarify or even go any deeper with what that's like.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a feeling or?
Yeah. So it can be different for different people. So I'm very visual, so I see things. Some people feel things. So they may feel sensations, or they might just, get a feeling that, they're not alone, or there's something there. You can also ask your star family or guides or the Sasquatch to show you some sort of a sign or a synchronicity or something like that, for confirmation. My star family would show me signs in the clouds. They would show me like a heart or like an eye or something like that, or you might get like repeating numbers. So you can do that way also. But it really takes strengthening your intuition to be able to discern and kind of decipher it. And your intuition is like a muscle. It gets stronger as you work it out. So that's what I would highly recommend. It took me a lot of practice, and then like meditation and listening to frequencies. So you can listen to like third eye frequencies or crown chakra frequencies. Do singing bowls, things like that can kind of help expand and heighten your awareness, and just practice that. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. And then also a really big thing is to set the intention and ask, and then just put some effort into doing some sort of a spiritual practice that can help you fine tune your senses, is what I would recommend.
I'm sure there's a lot of women that are into Sasquatch, but it's like it must be maybe different as a female in this genre to have a potent energy doing these things. You know what I mean? Did you feel fully accepted in doing that? You know what I mean? Or I guess with a lot of things I see, like, you got Tyler and Aaron, they're very scientific minds, and a lot of guys are like, yeah, gung-ho with supporting the men in this field. But did you feel fully welcomed and supported, and like in that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a little rocky in the beginning, but yeah, I think I just kind of like stuck with it, and then you find your tribe, and then it just continues to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, like it might be a little more difficult sometimes in UFO communities, maybe, or people who are very more techie but less spiritual. But you're in a community that is balanced with spirituality and with this type of information.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, with the kind of the nuts and bolts thing.
Yeah.
I can kind of pertain to some of them too because of my footage. I've been able to capture a lot of footage, but even then, sometimes a lot of people are still going to have something to say. Oh, that's fake, or whatever. Oh, that's just a lens flare, or whatever they're going to say. It can be really tough with the purely scientific people. Definitely. But then once you find, your tribe, I think the community that we have going right now, they're a really nice balance of the both.
It is very different. And Terry, I know you got something to say, and I'm gonna finish this, but I'm gonna tell you when I went to that conference the first time was last year, and to see it didn't matter people's age, it didn't matter sex, it didn't matter kids. I just felt like this was the most comfortable space created where kids could run and play and we could all be together and nobody was making a move, no. I mean, I loved sitting with Brooks Agnew and all these different people, and it just felt like everybody's voice was heard. Even if I had some crazy ideas, I was I felt received.
Yeah, we've got a really great community going with everybody. That's why I really, really love like the Journey to Truth conferences and the community that they've put together, and being a part. We have similar kind of vibrations, so we're all just kind of drawn to each other. And yeah, I love everybody that I've.
I think it's non-competitive.
Very grassroots, right?
Yeah.
Grassroots and non-competitive.
Yeah.
No one's trying to be the top of the heap. And I want to say hi to Laura, Lakeside Laura, because that's where we met last year and this year. Sandy, that's where we met. Jax, Dan, we met online, Dan and Monique. We got to get you down there, our Galactic Star Chart reader. But I'm telling anybody who hasn't been there, you have to be a part of that. You have to, right? Because Laura and I, we had our own experience outside, and we heard those bushes snapping, and we were like arm in arm, and we just froze, and we took 7 steps backwards, and then it was like a cartoon, and we were both going backwards, and then we went whoop, 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 and we just kind of like ran back up the hill. But that was so fun. Oh, I told Terry I like doing things that are intense and scary. So so I'm your girl. Let's go to the back of the Cahokia Mounds, and I don't mind. Let's do it. And I might step on your toe trying to get away, but
yeah,
I don't mind. And Terry, I know you had something to say.
No, actually, what I was going to ask you covered it, so we're on the same wavelength with things. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
And so, how did you end up in contact with your ET family? Like, what was that experience like? And have you noticed that it's many families, or because I think some people get attached to one, but here we are,
Yeah. Oh, I'm a big mutt. I've got
time. Exactly.
I think a lot of us are too. And whenever I do like Star Origins readings sessions for people, they usually get like 3-4 plus star families that come through. You may be kind of more connected to one, or maybe you're anchoring more of that specific frequency. But so my first star family was, they were coming to me as UFOs first, and then they started communicating kind of like telepathically and sending me visions. And then I started, and then that's whenever I found out. Once I started, the kind of communication ramped up, and I started to receive visions and was beginning to receive like messages, I found out that they were my star family. And I found out that I was a starseed. So I didn't know for like the first 6 months I was seeing these UFOs that I was a starseed.
So that was after 2020.
Yep, 2021, probably April 2021 is whenever I found out. Yeah.
So you were well into the research. See, I think all this time we think we're talking to ourselves like, oh no. And it's like, no, there's a couple of voices in there that maybe you think are yours, but maybe not.
Yeah, that's another big part of it. I mean, these beings, they were communicating with me and guiding me, but I didn't it's not always gonna be like a whole other voice in your head. It can be like these impressions that are guiding you.
I'm going to just ask something kind of esoteric in that, okay, since we know that time is not really linear, but when we connect with some of these star beings, do you think that they are actually an aspect of ourselves that's coming back to talk to us, or from the future, or from the past. And since we know that this point of consciousness is the most important, are they here, those star beings, our guides, are they an aspect of our soul group?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. A lot of the beings that I've seen and had that have contacted me, not all of them, but a good amount of them have been other versions of me from like the past or future or parallel lifetimes, which is super fascinating. Yeah, so definitely, I think that is a lot of it, and a lot of them kind of are guides of ours too. You know, they can be like spirit guides that help us on our journey. So yeah, I do believe a lot of them are other versions of us.
Before you had your contact, did you have any experience with spirit guides, or were you on a spiritual path in any way? I know you had done some stuff, but after your father's passing, but was that really what opened you up, that you felt you were open to contact? Was that how you sort of got to where you were saying, yeah, these are where I can get this?
Yeah, so at that time, like, yes, that started my spiritual journey, because I wanted to know what happened after my dad passed. I wanted to know where he went. I didn't know what was out there. I didn't know if God existed. So I didn't want to believe that he was just dead and gone and that's it. So that's what prompted me to start looking for answers in that way, in a spiritual sense. So that definitely opened me up a lot. And that's whenever I had my first spiritual experience, not too long after that, where I felt a presence from like source. And it took a lot. It was a very beautiful experience that lifted a lot of pain and suffering. And I was caught in this repeating loop of a very self-destructive path, and a lot of depression and issues at the time. And I had this beautiful experience where it was just, I felt this huge presence around me, and then I just felt all of that lifted, like a huge burden lifted off of my shoulder. And it was very much something divine. And I was like, wow, that was the first time I felt like something like that, otherworldly like that, from a higher power. And yeah, it was amazing. Definitely.
So as you have developed your relationship with your ET guides and stuff, have you been able to have they shed some awareness on you what happens after we ascend out of here?
Yeah, so I think it can be a variety of things. Oh, do you mean like after the ascension, or just in general?
Or any however you want to answer, after the ascension, or just after we leave, however you're guided to answer that.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a variety. It depends on what you want to experience as a soul, where you want to go. I hear a lot of people say, I'm done with Earth. I can't stand this place. This is my last lifetime, then I'm out. A lot of people say that. So maybe, they'll go on to doing whatever they want to do. Maybe they'll incarnate, have a nice, peaceful lifetime in the Pleiades or whatever they want to do. For me, I know I have another lifetime on Earth after this. They've shown me I'm going to be a little girl. I saw myself as a little girl with blonde hair to continue help building the new Earth after this lifetime. So that's what I'm contracted to do. So I think it just depends on your soul's growth and just what you want to do, what your soul wants to do.
Well, kind of even along those lines, a lot of people think that we should heal the earth and everything's going to be over and we're going to wrap it up all nice and neat and everything's going to be good. And I mean, is that even a part of this? Do you believe that that's a part of what this is? Because I know you have your own answer, but in my thoughts, sometimes I think we're here to participate because it's this way. is the challenge that we're sent here to discover and overcome. Not necessarily that it's the place that we need to fix. Not that while we're here, we shouldn't be trying to make a positive impact. We should make this positive impact, but not that it's going to be sewn up together and everyone's going to go, like it's not going to become this completely blissful place. But I know maybe some people feel differently. I would like to know what you think.
Yeah. There's many layers to it. We're partly here to, experience the contrast, the negative ups and downs. I do think that we will accomplish a lot in our lifetimes, and there's going to be a lot of disclosure in our lifetimes and a lot of really huge leaps. I don't think the work's not going to be completely done in this lifetime. And it's not necessarily something that we really need to fix. But it's part of this cycle, where we're raising up and ascending into, we're evolving as a species. But my next lifetime as that girl, and I believe she's sort of a hybrid. She'll have more. Who knows? We'll probably have superhuman gifts and abilities, by then. But my role in that lifetime is to continue building this new Earth. So it's not like going to be all done. But I think even in like these more evolved, advanced species, there's still drama. There can still be drama. Maybe not in all of the species, but there's still ups and downs.
Well, I like what you're saying because that leaves room, because I think people come in and they feel like they're Neo and they got to save the world, and they become very impatient, and it's hard to be present when you're thinking about 10 steps ahead what everyone should be doing. And instead of being like, wait a minute, let me bring this back into me being the best me I can be, because this is a part of my soul growth. And my soul growth doesn't mean that I have to force everyone to grow. Like I don't have to fix it all. I feel like a lot of people are turning spiritual work into like work. Like they're very demanding on themselves, very hard on themselves.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And it can get easy to kind of get stuck into that sometimes or dip into that. But we are also here for the experience and the process of it. So it's important to be present and, find joy where you can and do what, makes you happy while also focusing on your growth and development and healing and just being the best version of you, but not being like too super serious about it. I think you have better luck and a better time whenever you come at it with more of a playful, curious energy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
So so speaking of that, well, kind of, but like our DNA, we hear that we are multi-strand beings. And so, we have to activate our DNA. I should say but how do you recommend, or what is the process in activating that DNA? Is it the intention? Is it, I don't know, running around the house when the full moon? Just, like, I left out naked, but we can put that in.
I knew you wanted to say it.
But what are your suggestions? And I know you have a DNA activation kit. Maybe you can talk about it. What do you have? What do you suggest?
Yeah.
Can you give us some idea?
Yeah, definitely. So the DNA is incredibly important. And that was one of the first things that my star family started showing me. And I see Tyler in the chat. What's up, Tyler?
Hey, Tyler.
Hi, Tyler.
We were just talking about you a minute ago. So with DNA, it can be, some of the steps that my star family taught me can be super simple. So our cells are intelligent. Speak to them, set your intention and speak to them, command them to activate. So there's some really powerful mantras that whenever I was really focusing hard on activating my DNA that I would repeat every single day. Something as simple as I am activating my starseed DNA and, repeating that. Hopefully I didn't freeze.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, so mantras, things like that. Meditation and frequencies. Also, frequencies are incredibly important. So you can also ask your star family of the highest love and light and your guides to help you activate your DNA and then do meditations. You can listen to 528 hertz, which helps heal and repair the DNA, and different frequencies like that, and meditate with that intention and just, be kind of consistent with it, affirmation, mantras. And you'll be amazed if you are consistent with it, what will happen as you go.
Any thoughts on subliminals?
Oh, yeah. And I actually have a subliminal track in the DNA activation kits.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So I do like subliminals, and you can listen to, I should make a public subliminal track, because I don't know if there's one that you can find on YouTube that's specifically towards activating your DNA. But yeah, I find those really helpful too. Speaking to your subconscious, you can listen to, I used to be really, really big on listening to subliminal tracks during sleep. So yeah, I think that can be very helpful.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
I was wondering if there have been some strange experiences reported to what? Lily, tell them about your illegal cat. Anyway, good. But I'm kind of wondering, like, what are some of the responses people have told you about during listening to your DNA activations? Have you gotten a lot of good feedback with that?
Yeah, definitely. I have. Man, oh man, where to even begin? So I do kind of like these channeled activations, and channeled as in it's not an entity coming into my body, taking over my body. I channel through like the throat chakra, and they kind of like show me, the star beings will show me, guide me what to say, and then I say it, and then it's like in the frequencies in my voice. So through listening to that, people have had a lot of contact experiences. They've had more communication. They've developed their psychic abilities through it, developed more confidence, removed like personal blocks, and sometimes even like contact experiences with like UFOs and things like that. And they begin to develop a communication and relationship with their star family through that, and they'll meet new star family too. So those are some of the feedback I've received.
This is some good stuff. Why is he? Who's Tyler Koala? Oh my gosh, she said, who's Tyler Koala? And why is the cat illegal? What is he talking about?
Because I wasn't supposed to have any pets. And
I thought that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to have any pets. And my neighbors, I got new neighbors, and they saw him on my back balcony. And I almost told them, don't say anything, but I didn't. And 2 days later, I get a text from the realtor agency or whatever. And they're like, do you have a cat? and I was like, yeah, I've been watching them for my mom, yada, yada, just made some stuff up. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes. But I think hopefully.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo and be gone. Like,
right.
Oh my God, just be gone. Oh,
right.
Man. So. Okay. So this is great. I remember my first activation experience and just seeing lots of waves and lots of colors, and I didn't really know about how to meditate, and I would always see cartoons. So I thought, oh, I'm doing it wrong. I can't concentrate enough. Can you say anything about just some tips so that people know? Because I think people, they kind of give up because they don't feel like they're doing it right, or they can't quiet their mind enough, and it seems like some people are having these magnificent experiences. I think we always want to compare our experience to someone else's, because someone might be claircognizant and someone might be clairvoyant.
Right.
Yeah, it's different. It's so different.
Yeah, exactly. It is very different for every individual. And it takes a little bit of practice. You don't have to have your mind completely silent. Like, I think that's kind of a myth. But you get better at it as you go. Sometimes I'm still kind of like chatting with my, chatting and thinking about things. You can do, if you're somebody who has a lot of thoughts. So here's what helped me. Whenever I first started meditating, and my star family basically told me got to start meditating, it was very difficult for me at first. So what I started doing and what really, really helped me was I started meditating in the shower each day. I would do a 10, 15-minute guided meditation while I was in the shower. And the shower is a really great place to practice because it's already like kind of relaxing and soothing. And for people who may have kids or they may be super busy, you're going to be taking a shower probably every day. So there's no excuse not to just do a meditation in the shower. So it also helps build the habit. And the water is actually a great conductor of energy. And a lot of people have like downloads and revelations in the shower anyway. So so it's a great spot to practice. And I did that every day for a little while. I think at the end of week 1 or week 2, I received my first vision, and then it became fun and it started getting easier. So I would just say, be consistent with it. But you can also, if you have a hard time like meditating like that, you can also go for a walk, watch the sunset, stargaze, spend time in nature, or, try out different methods and see what works best for you. But really it might be difficult at first, but if you just kind of like hang in there and practice, then it gets easier.
I think that you're walking though is because you like to fidget, the walking takes over the fidgeting. So now I don't have to fidget. So now I can actually think while I'm walking. I kind of noticed that too, that yeah, we hope you're taking showers every day. I did notice this. She said that. She said, we hope you're taking. Just Laura is making jokes.
Yeah.
Not you, but
another thing that people can do is sit down with a pencil and pen and just do some automatic writing. Because that way it takes that left brain, it's sort of like doing like the walking or taking you're getting that left brain something to do. So then it opens up the right brain to allow for the communication. And a lot of times with an automatic writing, you can get information, and we forget that our imagination is such a profound aspect of our awakening. Where does the imagination come from? Where do our thoughts come from? And a lot of times people brush them off, but it's important to realize that our imagination plays a big role in our awakening.
Yeah, that's really, really great points. And I was just thinking to touch on that. So I 100% agree. I'll get a lot of people who say, I saw this and that during the activation, but I don't know if it's my imagination. I'm like, well, what is your imagination? Isn't that spirit anyway?
Yeah.
Like that's one way that spirit communicates with us is through our imagination. And you can do like open eye meditations too. I actually was thinking about making an open eye meditation, like a video with some of my footage and some of my UFO footage and stuff like that, because there's frequencies in it where you just kind of like open your eyes. But you can do that, out in nature too. And for me, getting in a creative flow state, like what you were just saying, like automatic writing is also like a form of meditation where you can receive messages. So the first like 6 months of being in contact with these beings and UFOs, I was not meditating. I was filming. I was out filming the sunset every day. And that's how I connected with them. Whenever I got into a flow state and started taking pictures and videos of the sunset and I wasn't in my left brain, I was just being creative. That's whenever they would show up and communication would come through. So that's a really great point.
There's flame meditations, and I guess like Tyler is saying, just looking at nature where you can go into a different state. I have not got to that point. I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly at the point of there's this conversation going on, and there's a few people talking. That's where they would normally put us in homes. But there's like this information. I'm like, you know what? I got an idea. And it's like, boom, ideas. And so for some of us, there's this constantly being given all these ideas. But when it comes time to do it, we're constantly receiving so many ideas. Like, have you experienced that where it just seems like I'm never bored, so much on my mind. And now what do you do with all of it?
Yeah. Yeah, that can be tough. I had a lot of ideas and I'd be like, which one do I do? Because you can only accomplish so much in a single lifetime. But what would your goal be? Do you want to like meditate more, or do you want like what kind of is your goal? Because I feel like there are some people who are meant to maybe meditate more, and some people who kind of do it in other ways or kind of have other roles. You know what I mean? So kind of what would your goal be?
Well, I'm asking you about people who are feeling like they're constantly getting downloads.
Oh yeah.
But we're constantly getting these downloads, but don't really know. Like we're constantly in a state of starting something new. I'm constantly writing stuff down.
Yeah.
I've even had a Nora say, Erica, your God said that you don't need to write everything down, but I'm constantly in a state of recording this information so that I don't forget it. It's almost like this fear of forgetting it so that I can do something with it later. It's almost, I'm like an information hoarder. I'm constantly, let me just go on my thing. Let's see how many notes I have. I have 767 notes. in my folder. So I got 767 notes.
Wow.
That's God help me. And it's like maybe if I have a magic word that I'm gonna have to look up to find all these notes to do the things that I really want to do. So I guess it's how do you sort between the thoughts? Like, do you have issues sometimes maybe sorting through the thoughts and saying, wait a minute, because I know we have to figure out the difference between distractions versus
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I used to be like that too, especially before this. I was studying like content creation and in business whenever I was doing health and nutrition. And I had so many notes. I had notebooks filled with notes. And at one point, like I laid all of my notes out and it like took over like the whole place, just filled with papers of notes. And I'm like, okay, now it's kind of getting counterproductive because I can't do all of this and I just keep writing notes instead of like stopping and focusing on one thing.
Doing. Yeah. You got to get out of this thinking to doing because it's the paralysis of analysis because we're constantly.
Yeah, 100%. I there was a period of my life where I experienced that too. How did I get out of that, man? Just slowing down. I started that's whenever I started stargazing a lot and kind of slowing down. And that helped. I also started microdosing for a little while. And that helped. And then like I wasn't meditating at the time, but I was still getting into like a meditative state by, spending time out in nature and just kind of like forcing myself to slow down. So yeah, it's just something, it's like a habit that you kind of have to break essentially by kind of slowing down and just switching things up, switching gears into kind of like a different energy.
It's true because it's not being present.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like going to the party and taking all those pictures.
And not being participating in the party.
Yeah.
Right.
You're taking. So is it maybe just going into that heart space and connecting with your intuition and just say, okay, what is it that I really need to focus on right now? There's all these ideas, but when we get all these ideas, are we just channeling the mass consciousness that these are important aspects? Is it our responsibility to bring all of that into fruition, because we're not superhuman, not yet anyway. So maybe there's just, it's finding our focus, and maybe, I don't know. So activating more of our DNA, is that going to help us find that point of focus more of our soul's journey? Like, like, yes, there's a million things to be done. We're not meant to do all of those things, right?
Well, activating your DNA can help, but I agree with what you just said a second ago about really focusing on the heart space. And as you kind of like open your heart and focus on your heart, you become kind of like more centered. And I found that my communication with my guides grew rapidly whenever I focused on opening my heart, and you can do like heart and brain coherence.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful. Focusing on, because your brain sometimes is going a mile a minute. You've got all
I'm trying not to write that down.
You might want to write that one down, though.
Okay, you're writing down. Thank you.
Well, actually, Erica, earlier today we did a meditation, and that was actually the heart brain coherence. It was just my version of it, but yeah, it is. It's going into that heart space, and when you go in there, that's you're connecting to that intuition and your higher self.
I definitely see it and feel it, because what I think it is, it's maybe some of us are so wired to tap into the collective consciousness that we're picking up all these things and we think it's for us, and it's not for us.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I was getting all those ideas, all those ideas and stuff, and writing down all those notes and doing all this blah blah blah, I mean, a lot of it was kind of a phase though where I was learning a lot and absorbing a lot that was helpful, but not all of it. Like I did in a lot of the ideas that I've had, I've accomplished some of them and saw that was my path, and then some of the others I haven't, and that's just not what I was supposed to do. So yeah, I think sometimes you can just kind of get on a roll or be picking up other things, and it's helpful to just kind of recenter and tune in and ask for clarity on, what is the best way for you to focus your time and energy in the present moment. And yeah, Tyler's got a point too. Sometimes just living and not focusing all the time on doing spiritual work is helpful. Taking a break.
Making it into work. And I'm trying not to end up looking like Megamind, like with a big cartoon forehead with a because I swear the last couple of days my little head was swelling. I even saw it. I was like, oh my God, my face looks so huge and my temples were throbbing. And then I really had got to the point where I was like, I can't watch not one video. No, don't even listen to a meditation. Don't even listen. Couldn't even listen to a subliminal. I had to just shut it all down and like, oh, hey, where's the quiet? Where's the quiet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Even sometimes just watching a show sometimes,
and laughing at a stupid show, because I think we get to the point where now everybody's like, I don't watch TV anymore. And I'm like, oh my God.
I just watched TV for 2 hours before this.
All right. And you're doing great. You're not cracked out. Everything is good. No, I think so. I mean, so with that, a lot of people might be scared of programming still, but what's your logic with that you're able to watch television and have fun and maybe go to a comedy show or a theme park or something?
Yeah. I mean, worrying just worrying so much and being like super strict. I feel like you can also like manifest more of that if you like focus on that too hard. But also like the types of shows that I watch. While I was watching Ghost Adventures earlier, I used to really like the paranormal stuff. I stopped watching that for a while because then I started seeing paranormal stuff and I was like, I'm good. Wow. Well, whenever my spiritual gifts started like activating, I was like, I don't want to see any of that. But it can be entertaining. So I've been watching a little bit of that, and then I'll watch kind of shows that have some positive messaging but are also funny. Like, The Magicians is a good one. It's about like magic and they've got crystals and stuff, but it's also funny. So kind of like choosing shows like that. But yeah, it's okay to enjoy a show here and there.
Instead of Lakeside Laura, he's calling her Garden Side Laura. That would be nice. I live in Florida. Tyler, I want to see how outside Tyler gets if he comes to Florida. If you can still be Mr. Outside in nature when you get here, let me know. I swear I need like a net to go outside. Like
too hot.
Not even just too hot. It's you walk under a tree, you got to think twice about walking under a tree because you're literally going to be covered with little creepy crawlies when you go outside. It's really busy here.
And you got to watch for alligators.
And now, alligators can climb fences. So we would discuss that today because someone said, I got a fence. I was like, honey, alligators climb fences and they ring doorbells. So, it's a different life here. So
that's wild. Yeah. Tyler leaves for Florida in the morning.
Yay. See, I know he's been internet stalking me, like low key, real low key. I know it. And so he's coming. I know he's trying to be close to me. I was kidding. I keep teasing him about it like he's stalking me. Okay. But I was gonna say too, some of the things with I don't watch TV, it gets to be a little bit virtue signally, a little bit that type of thing. And that's what I haven't asked you like how long do you meditate, how often do you because I think when people start to hear if someone says this, it becomes like some type of Bible for someone else. And I noticed you're not into that. Trying to, like you encourage on a different level. So I can tell like you've really grown past some aspects that some people may be still trying to fit into where we're trying to compare our journey to someone else's journey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And everybody's unique and everybody's journey is unique. And we're also human. We're all human. We're not perfect. Being too strict with it. And also using what one person says as your, Bible or as the truth is, I wouldn't encourage that. Feel into it for yourself,
Well, Jonathan said life is a meditation, and it's true because what the goal of meditation is just to make meditation part of your life. That you just do it automatically without even saying, "Oh, I'm going to meditate." It just is. That's who you are.
Yeah. And Tyler says we're human. Well, human hybrid.
Yeah. That's it. That was my thought last year when I came to the conference. I was like, no, we're not what is human. Can't be what is human. What would you say? What is human? I mean, I actually started to wonder if the animals are what are human. I asked my son this today. I said, what if whales thought they were human and they thought we were the weirdos and we're the aliens actually, because they're thinking, well, we were here first.
Yeah.
And they got their own language. We don't know what they're saying about us. That's what I said to my son. And he was like, oh, okay. I'm going to go use the computer now. What is human to you? What do you believe about that?
Well, I guess I just mean like the human experience in the conditions that we are in and the environment that we are in. We're kind of having this human experience. But yeah, we're hybrids and we're starseeds. So we're a combination of a lot of different things. But yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Just kind of like
because we don't have any horns. No, I really think like before humans were not very attractive. They would have a little bit of tails. Lily would have her hair would be like around closer to her face, like that we would be a little more chimpy, a little more whatever, something else. And I think like now we're over time this manicured thing, but that's my thought. But I really didn't think that we were human. I think too, people look back and they think that like there's a time, like say the early 1900s when time was good. We keep looking back like people were better, and I'm just not sure people were much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that definitely. Yeah.
So there's a thing of placing in the past. Oh, people were so much better then, or in the future we're going to be so much better than. Anyway.
I mean, like look at like the Roman Empire and stuff.
They had to be pretty shitty. Yeah. It's like those are some pretty crappy people, and that was a long time ago. So
yeah.
Not that 1960 would be better, but we're becoming civilized. Then there's warrior instinct too, because I was thinking as we're at this time of really like the most peace on earth, we're not really that peaceful. I think maybe is that why people are so at a state of unrest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like we want to be a little more Viking like. Like we want to raise a little bit of hell.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on, but yeah. It's all happened for a reason though.
Yeah, it's well, like say we're not in a state of violence, right? So now instead we're on the internet arguing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a different type.
Yeah, that
A
type.
different type. Keyboard warriors now.
Yeah.
So it is about breaking down those old paradigms, right? We think that things were so much better 20 years ago or 100 years ago. And then when we look back to those Roman times, they weren't. But what are the paradigms, like what is it that we have boxes to break open and belief systems to break open? So do you think that our ability to, as starseeds, is that what part of our mission is to break those old paradigms apart, those old belief systems?
I think that that could be part of it, and I think it will kind of happen naturally, yeah, as our consciousness expands and our frequency expands. Definitely, I think that'll kind of just automatically happen.
Mm-hmm. Right. And did you want to share screen or share any of your amazing videos? I didn't know if you had set some aside. And I'm going to say, welcome to Ramadan. It's like 2 a.m. in Egypt. And I'm surprised, do you got electricity and internet at this time of night? Because they do shut down. They shut things down.
Do they?
Yeah, they have like rolling like 2 hours of no electricity sometimes.
Oh, interesting. That might be a good thing, huh? Sure, I can show a few pictures. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
And there were some questions up at the top of the chat because I know you're going to do Shasta soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm speaking at 2 events in Mount Shasta in July. The Rob Potter Summer Mount Shasta Conference. The information can be found on my website. I just made a new website, lilynovacontact.com. There's an events tab. So there's 2 events in Mount Shasta in July, and then they asked another question about if I plan to like teach people like CE5 and stuff like that. I have a CE5 playlist on my YouTube channel. Just go through my playlist. Also, a bunch of meditations and activations. And then in my book, Contact, there is a guide also in that. So
whoa, this book comes with instructions.
Yeah, at the very end, there's a chapter on how to make contact. Yes. And there's a chapter at the end on ET races. It has just kind of like the main Starseed races. So yeah, there's a lot of information.
The new, is this you? Is that you?
Yeah, that is me.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so July 12th and July 18th. You're working double time.
Yeah, back to back.
All right. So you all see it, lilynovacontact.com, and then she has an events page on there, got the book on there, and the book comes with the CE5. Very technical. Mm-hmm. Wow. And this picture is amazing.
Thanks. I took that. That was in Mount Shasta.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm sharing. Yep, I'm ready to go. Okay, perfect.
How did it do that? Okay, you got to change.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
my folder.
That's what I see. But no, you're sharing something different. Okay, I'm gonna kick you out and then do it again.
All right.
Okay, let's try it again.
I hate it whenever it does this. Okay, we'll just say entire screen. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know it had choices.
Yeah, of what you can share. Okay, Uh,
Oh,
can you
oh,
see?
there it goes. There you go.
Okay. All right. So I'll show you guys a picture of my first star family that I ever saw.
Good. That's neat.
Yeah, one of my main mentors. Well, this is an AI art depiction of her. She's
Mm-hmm.
so she had light blue skin. She had no hair and a silver uniform. Her name's Talia. She's Andromedan constellation.
So can I ask this? Does she actually have a sex?
Yep,
Because
female.
some don't. Okay, so because some look like females, there are
Mhm.
androgynous or
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, she's female. Yeah, there's definitely sexes in that race.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what she looks like. Here's kind of a depiction of me meditating with her. I made this with AI art too. So meditating under the Milky Way to connect with her, kind of receiving upgrades and DNA activations during that process.
Have you also saw some ancestor like Native Americans, Asians, like it's interesting because people will say, "Oh, I see this with you," and they always pick an African god, and I'm thinking to myself, like, that's because I'm black. But anyway, because I'm like, I see Asian people when I meditate. I see like Asian guides and like Native American guides, and
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a combination. My first spirit guide that I ever saw was actually Native American.
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is what's that?
I wonder if you all have maybe like something different goes on because you're in the Midwest. Like,
Mm.
do you find any location is better for you or more active?
I feel like it's been pretty active where I am, and I'm near St. Louis. There's a lot going on in this area that I don't think is like open to the public, but kind of a lot of secretive things going on in this area. And there's a lot of energy with the big rivers, the Missouri and Mississippi River, and then the Merrimack River, and it all kind of joins. And then you've got Kokia Mounds, which is the largest and oldest Native American site on sacred land, in the oldest and largest in the whole continent of North America, is like 40 minutes from my house. So I think it's been a pretty good energy spot for me. There's also been a lot to transmute here, but yeah. But yeah. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, you totally did. You were talking about that location, that this right here, what you saw.
Oh, so this is a picture that I took of the Pleiades star cluster.
With your camera.
Yep, with my camera.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty incredible what you can get. And this is a picture of the Orion Nebula. So just to show a little bit of background about kind of the pictures that I was out taking. So
do you know anything about the stars that we're looking at? Like, do you know any of the names of the particular stars in there?
So these ones are pretty far away. I was using so I don't know the names of these. I just know this is the Orion Nebula, and it sits under Orion's belt. So the 3 stars in Orion's belt. Those other stars are pretty kind of like far away. So you probably can't see these with your naked eye. You'd need like a telescope to see them. Yeah, and this is the Andromeda Galaxy. I'll just show one more picture that I took. So there's the Andromeda Galaxy.
Do you know anything about the naming of these? Like we know they didn't name these in the 1900s. Do you know anything about the naming of the systems?
Yeah, I think well, a lot of it is named after I think like Greek mythology.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stories behind that. Yeah, and if you get like a star map on your phone, an app on your phone, you'll see kind of like the different, like, Orion's belt is this character, Orion. I don't know the story behind him.
Right.
But yeah, there's all these kind of stories and mythology behind it that's been around for a really long time.
And classifications like this class star and so on.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll show a picture of me meditating And then I had a UFO appear up here.
Yeah, can we actually see it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I got another picture.
My goodness.
Yeah.
It always looks like a jewel of some sort, like a gem.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different. Here's another picture where
shape. Yeah.
It's a little bit cleaned up there. But it it looked different. It appeared in 3 photos that I took, and it looked different in each photo. It's kind of like morphing and moving. You can see it kind of like look wavy, but also they're very, very fast. So they can be really hard to take pictures of.
And it's hard because there's a vibration, right, around it. It's not like just one solid, there's like an energy field around it, or.
Yeah. In this other one right here, you see me right there, and I asked them to appear in front of the camera. So I set a time lapse to take pictures. And then you see this appeared over here, and it kind of looks like a tear in space-time, or a portal opened up, and this just appeared here for a couple seconds, and then it was gone. So
just gone.
Yeah, looks like 2 black triangles.
So were you physically able to see that, or was it only able to be seen by the camera? Because I want to ask, because I noticed cameras seem to pick up things that we don't see at all.
Yeah, so I did not see that. I didn't see that.
Wow.
I was walking, and I was actually kind of like looking in that direction already, and I could feel them. I knew that they were going to appear. But I didn't see them. And I had the picture, I think I had it take like 10 pictures or something like that, or 20 pictures. And then I walked back over and checked the camera, and I had felt them, but I didn't see them. And then this was there. So I was like, oh my gosh.
So when was that taken?
This was before I was on YouTube. So over 2 years ago, probably around 2 years ago. And then I'll show you guys. Also, I'll show you guys this orb I caught. So sometimes, they can also appear as orbs that you can't see with your eyes, but the camera picks them up, especially in the sun and sunlight. So I caught this crazy looking orb that I call it the Rubik's Cube orb, because it looks like this geometric shape that's shifting and moving. And this was during an experience with Thoth. And I write about this in the book too, but and I was amazed at going back and looking through the footage and finding this. So I'll go ahead and let it play. You'll see a bunch of little orbs, but then I get this really good one, and
nice. And it's not the camera flare, because it moves at a different speed as the camera. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Wow, it's dimensional. It's like multi-layered.
Yeah. So this could be like them projecting into our dimension, because sometimes I feel like it can appear kind of like a projected kind of hologram into our dimension. It's really interesting. I'll show you one more. So this I caught on my cell phone. And at first I thought it was one light being. And then I zoomed in.
Oh, let me get off the stage. How do I make it so that I'm gonna make it so there we go.
Okay.
So you see.
Wow.
Very busy.
Yeah, you zoom in, and then can you see the arms and legs right there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, so this was, I believe, a group of Pleiadians, I believe, who were starting to kind of like project themselves into the room. But they didn't physically manifest, but they were kind of like projecting themselves in, if that makes sense. It's crazy what whenever you get into this interdimensional, multidimensional quantum stuff and quantum technology, what they can do.
Lily, I'd have been looking under the carpet. to be like, okay, let's see what you left under the car. Like, did you leave me something?
Did they leave the winning lottery ticket? That's all I want to know.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Those are amazing photos.
Thank you.
So have you thought about doing just a photo book of just a collection?
Yeah, that was one of the ideas that I
See
had.
how I think too much? That's how I am. I'm just like,
I want to eventually, and also I want to do some meditations. I do a lot of meditations on my YouTube channel, but I want to do some meditations where your eyes are open and you're looking at the pictures with the, meditation music. So,
Yeah.
because the pictures have frequencies in them, so they can
Mhm.
impact you. That's how they started teaching me about channeling. They're like, you're channeling these frequencies in the pictures. And I found this out one time. I was looking through my pictures after a session with them, and also I would photograph all of these signs and symbols that they would leave for me in the clouds, and my ears started ringing, and I was like, whoa. Usually that would happen whenever they were nearby. That happened a lot in the beginning. My ears don't ring as much now, but in the beginning they were ringing off the chain, and I knew they were nearby whenever my ears would ring. And they said, your pictures. I was like, are you guys nearby? Like, my ears ringing, what's going on? And they're like, no, we're not there. Your pictures are making your ears ring because of the frequency in the pictures.
Does it get to a point because, I would say because you're on the wave and you're ahead, like you've already received these activations. Does it get to a point where we receive less activations, or is it a point where we don't need as many activations, or how does it work?
Yeah, I think so. So I went through like very intensive training for about a year straight, and it was just activations all day, every day. It was very, very intense, rapidly. And now, since then, it comes in waves. It's been, there's periods where it's quiet. It's quiet for a while, and then
through the solar, we might have intense activity. I think we kind of missed the high though of the vibration and the like, oh, it was so exciting and so intense. And we like kind of want to stay in that state of,
yeah, definitely.
Oh, I can feel it. Like, yeah.
If it goes a while without me like feeling or experiencing something, I'm like, what's going on? You miss it.
You do miss it. So we hit a lot of points. I don't know if you wanted to share more.
I think we did a pretty good job. We covered a lot.
Yeah, and so we know that you're going to be doing these 2 events this year. We're really sorry. I'm sorry I'm not going to make it, and that we're going to be doing
disclosure now
here, so the full disclosure now. But I'm definitely looking forward to us spending time with you or connecting with you. I know it's very hard when we go to events because it's like super chatty and we get like 5 minutes, but I would like for us to really get to the state where we just start getting beach houses and stuff and just having fun, like where it's not necessarily a conference. I feel like for us as families, because that's what we are, these big families, that we can go to conferences, but we got to live together, not necessarily live in close proximity, but make each other a part of our lives where we're kind of connecting. Right. But we don't have to buy a ticket. We just got to rent a a beach house, or like we all got to buy beach houses or something where we can be like, hey, come meet me at my beach house, because I would definitely invite you.
Yes. I agree. I think that is where we got to go.
Yeah. And I think the only other thing that I would ask you is, for you, what's your definition of ascension, and what does it look like to you? Because people have a different thought of what it looks like.
Yeah. So ascension for me personally has been very much about, remembering who you are, remembering, that you are a divine spark, that you are a divine, powerful creator, and tapping into your full potential, you know, your growth, your evolution, expanding your consciousness, healing the layers. That's been a journey because as we ascend into these higher dimensions, we can't bring all the baggage with us. So it's been very much about a healing process as well. So that's essentially what it means for me. And everybody's journey looks different, but yeah, essentially those are kind of the main milestones. I think raising your frequency, remembering who you are, tapping into your true power, stepping into your power, and then healing.
Mm-hmm.
Reconnecting with your divine self, remembering who you are, who you truly are.
And where's Lily 10 years from now?
Ooh, girl, hopefully in a beach house.
Dan agrees. Dan agrees. I think it's going to be an amazing leveling up where we're kind of making it.
Yeah.
And some of us are manifesting. We're seeing it. But I really think, you know, if we keep going and don't get tired, we're going to be just blown away, like looking back at where we were versus where we are now. Yeah. Like for me, that's that version of ascension is this whole new world where we're literally jet setting and doing powerful grid work everywhere we go, because we can find all these little places. I want to find these little strange caves and these little crystal caves and these rivers that, you know, go into some type of tunnel, and it's like, oh my God. And we're just doing these amazing, beautiful things. Because I think a lot of people, the only way you could say, I'm tired of this place and I'm really ready to go, we haven't even seen this place yet.
Right. Yeah. I want to travel the world. That's always been, you know, my dream. And I've been to a couple places. I've been to Italy. I've been to Canada. I'm going to Egypt next March. I'd really like to go. Yeah, I'm so excited for Egypt. I really want to go to like Scotland and Ireland. And there's
yes,
just
girl, everywhere. I'm going
Mexico.
to UK in 2 weeks. I want to go everywhere. I want
to do everything.
Every place. Well, I don't want to do everything. No, we don't.
Oh.
We don't want to do everything. I mean, I've never been to Turkey, you know, like I'm just Bali. I want to go to Bali. And it's amazing that someone could say, I'm so tired. I'm like, you haven't even begun to live yet. And that's the only way that you could really say something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm excited. And I think, stepping into our powers and learning how to manifest and being open to receive abundance and blessings from the universe is a big part of. There's a lot of negative programming around that too, about abundance and money, and maybe you don't feel like you're deserving of these wonderful things, and we really have to cut through that bullshit.
Yes, you know.
So do you
from source? So it can't be bad. It's for you. It's what people have done with it that's bad. But source is above the law. And that's what I'm learning is like, if I go above the law and I go to source, I don't have to follow the rules of work. I already told God, I said, all right, I don't work for money anymore. So I need you to send me the check. So I already got one big check. It's like, hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going, because I got to show people. I want to be that kind of way shower that shows people we can manifest. But go ahead, Terry.
I just wanted to say, as we develop our psychic abilities, we will learn how to biolocate, and I'm sure that your star family, they can teach us those things, but we're just not ready to activate that aspect of our DNA yet. But I'm sure it's coming sooner than we think.
That would be convenient.
We'll manifest it on both sides.
Bilocation would be a lot easier than stepping on through security in an airport, right?
Yeah, and flying for 16 hours to go across the world. Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah. So, any last words that you would like to let everybody know, like your powerful statement that you want to end with?
Yeah, I think we kind of just touched on something super, powerful and profound, and something also lighthearted and fun, stepping into our power, but also being open to receive the blessings and abundance and love and light from the universe, and staying in our heart space and following our bliss and having fun with it, being playful, I think is the best thing that we could do right now. And of course, connecting with our soul tribe.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
Terry, we're gonna. Oh,
Whoops.
I got like a trigger finger today. I got a trigger finger. All right. Well, I had a great time.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Really grateful that you're able to be here, and thank you guys for hanging out with us. And anybody in the future, like, share, subscribe, but let us know what you think. I like feedback, but you can tell I like to talk a lot, y'all. So just talk to me. Leave me a message. Let me know you were there. And
thank you, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been wonderful chatting and hanging out with you.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I agree. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. We're gonna fly out, y'all.